I had such high hopes for Rowan for about one episode, and what episode was that? I have been taking notes. The second they were in frame together, I was like to my sister, I was like, they're gonna date. Oh my god. Am I in the center? Hi guys, oh my god, welcome to my channel. Today, oh my god, if you have seen Heartbreak High, number one, I love you because I cannot stop thinking about that show. I finished season 2. I was kind of a little bit late, I can't lie. I was too busy. And then I dedicated like 2-3 days in amongst like living life, I guess, to binge watch it from the start, because every time I watch a show, I cannot watch a new season without rewatching the previous seasons first. Otherwise, like, what if you're confused? What if you miss a little bit of like a bit of lore? You know what I mean? Like, you need to like watch it all from the fucking beginning. But oh my god, I have some thoughts, I have some opinions. I have been thinking about this show. So if you've seen it, stick around, watch the video, share your thoughts in the comments below. And if you haven't seen it, expect spoilers, or go watch it and then come back. Save this to your watch later. Go watch all of Heartbreak High. That's gonna take you like either like a whole freaking night of binge watching or multiple days, and then come back to your watch later and watch this. Genius. So yeah, let's get into my thoughts. First of all, I'm in love with Malachi. Oh my god. Who isn't? But like, legit in love with him. And I've discussed Heartbreak High with many people since it came out, and many people were actually like not happy with his bi storyline, because lots of people thought that, like, I talked to this one girl and she was like, oh, like, they just make everyone gay, like blah blah. And like, I guess like I can understand that perspective, but from my perspective as someone who is bi, every single, like, most of my friends are queer, so like it's realistic to me, but like also there is not enough bi male representation. Like, I swear there is like hardly any. Like, I try and name like some of the bi men representation off the top of my head, and I can't really think of any. Like, I literally, like, I'm really trying to think right now, and I struggle to think of much, you know what I mean? Like, they really lack that in the TV world. There isn't really much, you know what I mean? Like, but like girl-wise, there's a lot. So I loved this little awakening for Malachi. I loved it. I just love him. And I loved him and Rowan so much. Oh my freaking god. Like, if Rowan, spoiler alert, if Rowan didn't have his issues and wasn't bird psycho and didn't have those little conflicting feelings for Amory, which I do have a lot of feelings on, then I would 100% be like, oh my god, Rowan and Malachi endgame. Like, I know everyone wants Malachi and Amory endgame, but like, I don't know. Malachi and Amory sort of reconnected at the end, and then he wrote that letter and left for Sweden and was crying on the plane. Oh my fucking god. Oh my god. Like, now I want them to be endgame. Like, they better be. Like, if they're not endgame now, I'll be like upset. But at the same time, oh my god, I'm yapping. At the same time, I'm a never have I ever girly. Favorite show. Oh my god, I love it. And I was like such a Team Paxton girly for like the first 3 seasons. I was like, Paxton has to be endgame. And then they turned it around, and by season 4, they had convinced me to love Ben. They had convinced me that Ben should be endgame, and Ben was endgame, and I was happy for it. I was happy for it. But like, that wouldn't have happened if they hadn't changed the script. You know what I mean? So I don't know, like, maybe I would love Amory and Malachi to be endgame. Everyone agrees. We've all thought this since episode 1, when they literally made eye contact in the schoolyard. Oh! I think about that scene every day. Ever since they made eye contact in the schoolyard, I was like, they're meant to be endgame. There was like a 10-second change where I was like, no, like, Rowan and Malachi have to be endgame, right? But then like, they could switch it around though. They could switch it around. Rowan and Amory, I'm not really on the train for. I had such high hopes for Rowan for about one episode. And what episode was that? I have been taking notes. I've been taking notes. And I'm sorry, they're all over the place because Okay, one, they're all over the place because I was kind of just writing thoughts, then rewatching season 2. I'm on my second rewatch at the moment. And then rewatching season 2 at the same time as writing thoughts. So I was basically just like writing thoughts and then being like, oh my god, no, this just happened. And then I was writing, this happened in episode 3, while also simultaneously writing about something that happened in episode 7. So my thoughts are all over the place. So if this video doesn't make sense, I apologize profusely. So I'm just gonna go through, I'm just gonna sort of like read my notes and my thoughts, and hopefully it makes sense. But I had hope for Rowan, and I have a clip whether, I don't know if I'm going to be too insecure to upload it because I look like hell in that clip. Like, I'd just come home from a work shift, zero makeup. I was like on the couch yapping away about how I was like, guys, like, I was sending this to the group chat. Okay, I should start with that. I was sending this to a group chat and I was like, guys, like, Rowan's hot. Low key, like, I have faith for Rowan right now. Like, Rowan's hot. I would want him too. He's got that little country boy aesthetic, which is not usually my type, but like Rowan, he was doing something to me like, I was like, no, Rowan's kind of hot. And mid that like thing was when I discovered that he was bird psycho mid that rant. And I accidentally filmed me discovering the plot twist. Like, okay, I thought it was a little bit annoying how quickly he moved on to Amory, but after what had happened in the first episode where like Amory introduced himself, like even my sister, I was watching it with my sister and she was like, oh, like I thought the whole Rowan and Malachi thing was like confusing because like I thought Rowan had a thing for Amory, because in episode 1, like when Amory introduced herself, he looked at her and he was like interested in her, you know what I mean? I'll insert the clip if I can find it.
You knew?
Yeah.
I'm Amory.
Rowan.
Nice vest.
Welcome.
So I was like, oh, like it's kind of weird how quickly Rowan moved on from Malachi, but with that, you know, background knowledge that he was sort of already interested from the first day, it's not that shocking. So, and like when they were in like his room and they were like looking at like the little like sand animation and like they were editing the video together, I was like, oh, like I ship this, I see it. Rowan's kind of hot, like give me him.
So I basically rigged the camera up above it, and then you just like move the sand bit by bit and take photos, and when you string it all together, you end up with something like this. Yeah. Anyway, that's basically it.
I had hope for him for that one episode, and then I discovered he was bird psycho, and all of a sudden I was over-analyzing his every single interaction in the first rewatch. And every single little thing hit different, and I was like, wow, like no wonder like he had this connection with Amory. And I was like to my friend, because I finished episode 9 and then I had to go to work, so I had to wait like freaking a day before I could watch episode 10. And I was like to my friend, I was like, oh my god, like I have a theory that Rowan's not actually from Dubbo. And she just looked at me and I was like, so I might be right. And I was, because turns out he wasn't actually from Dubbo, because I had a feeling he must have known Amory when they were kids. Like it was pretty clear what was coming. And I was like, oh, well, like he must have known Amory when he was kids. Like he can't be from Dubbo then. Like maybe Dubbo was like, he moved there like temporarily and like he's just pretending he was there all the time. I was right, so I'd like a medal from that. Kidding. I'd like a medal. But the second rewatch hits different, because if you look back at all these little Amory and Rowan interactions and all these Rowan and Malachi interactions, to be fair, I have been over-analyzing the shit out of these interactions to the point where I've probably made up a narrative that is not true. But I am an over-analyzer of interactions through and through in everyday life and in fiction life. So I have been overanalyzing the shit out of this, and it hits so much different in the second rewatch when you see how Rowan is towards Amory and how the way he acts towards Amory switches when he's with Malachi. Because obviously it's clear that Rowan wants to forget Amory, because his note buried in the pit is literally forget Amory. And we also as an audience sort of can tell that when Amory digs up the forget Amory thing, like she thinks it's about Malachi, but as an audience, we could tell that it wasn't about Malachi, I think. Like, from my perspective, I could tell that it wasn't about Malachi, and my sister was like, oh, like, Spider probably wrote that. You know what I mean? Like, because obviously Spider and Amory have a bit of a history. Oh my God, another thing that gets me. Okay, I'm starting from the top. This is literally what I wrote. I was like, this is what I wrote. I was like, heartbreak high thoughts because it's consuming my life. And I was like, oh my God, Rowan. I think he at least liked Malachi because the relationship was too cute and the way he looked at him, exclamation mark. And the reason I wrote that is because I saw a TikTok and people in the TikToks were like, oh, like, I hate to think that like Rowan only dated Malachi to get back at Amory. Like, oh my God. And I was like, maybe this is just me making it up in my head, but I refuse to believe that. I refuse to believe that because it was too cute and I would feel way too bad. Like, I've already felt bad for Malachi anyways when he got broken up with. I would feel so bad for Malachi. I literally, the freaking chokehold that Malachi has on me because I'm obsessed with him and he does not deserve for his first queer relationship to be in spite of someone else, let alone in spite of his ex. So I refuse to believe that actually. And I did analyze every interaction to come to the conclusion that the relationship was real. In my opinion, could be wrong, not confirmed, not official information, but in my opinion, that's what I think. So here's what I wrote. I mean, like the way he looked at Malachi, first of all, I'll insert some clips, but the way he looked at Malachi was like, oh my God. And the tension there, I could feel it through the fucking screen. I could feel the connection through the goddamn fucking screen, bro.
I am going to pair you up with someone who is no stranger to being the new kid. Malachi, this is Rowan. Rowan, this is Malachi. Well done. Hope you have fun together. Come on.
The second they were in frame together, I was like to my sister, I was like, they're gonna date. And she was like, no, like they wouldn't date. Like Rowan looks straight as hell. And I was like, no, like that man ain't straight and they're gonna date. And I was right. And even in the party scene, right? Because just the way that like they were together and the way that like Rowan was looking Malachi up and down. He was doing that thing where he was like looking at his eyes and then like looking at his lips and then looking back to his eyes. I was like obviously they're gonna date. Like, look at the freaking tension right now. And like Malachi is also like queer as hell. I can just tell these things. And Malachi was giving bi from season 1. And I was like, bro, like, it's why people were shocked when he came out as bi. I freaking knew. So just like the way Rowan was looking at Malachi, like that couldn't have been faked. He was clearly at least attracted to Malachi because, I mean, look at Malachi, he's hot as hell. But so I wrote, I think that he liked Malachi, but he loved Amory. Like, had loved her since they were friends as kids. But he also hated her because he found a way to blame her for his brother's death to take away from his guilt. Ooh. So why am I analyzing my own writing now? I wrote this at midnight, so that sentence didn't even make sense. But like, I think, like, yeah, he loved Amory. I think the feelings he had towards Amory were so strong. Like, he loved her strongly, but he also hated her strongly because internally he blamed her for his father's death, so that his brother's death, so that like he could like feel less guilt about it. Sorry, my brain moves so fast that if I ever yap and it doesn't make sense, that's probably what it is. And this is what I wrote. I was like, but he had to at least like Malachi. Like, for example, I just watched the party scene. The looking at his hand bit. The way he looked at Malachi from eyes to lips, the way he talked to him, literal flirting.
Can I interest you in a free vest? Comes with a bunch of ridicule, some shame, and a weird assumption, you know your way around livestock. Now look at these hands. They've done a day's hard yucca in their life.
Shit. True. They're pretty pristine, Rowan. Hey, TikTok box.
But the party scene was crazy. Like, literally. Again, I was watching it with my siblings at the time and I was like, the frick they're gonna date. And my sister still didn't believe it. Rowan was literally holding Malachi's hand, or whether it was the other way around, I don't remember now. Someone was holding someone's hand and they were looking at each other and they were flirting and she still didn't think they were gonna date. This is the escape room bit. The first thing I wrote was, Escape room inviting Rowan. Malachi looks so nervous. It's cute. How cute! Oh, I love Malachi. He's so cute. Ah! Oh my god. And then the way, when they're like trapped in that little room, the way Rowan is like looking at Malachi does something to me. Like I was telling my friends, I was like, oh my god, like guys, like Rowan's low-key hot. And they were like, you're insane. Rowan is not hot at all. Like, what are you yapping about? I think it's because Rowan has such riz. Like, he's like so good at getting Malachi, and like the tension he has with Malachi, like I'm getting secondhand riz. Like I can feel the riz through the screen, that it's like, I was like sitting there, I was like, oh my god, like I feel like I'm getting rizzed up right now, even though it's like literally Malachi getting rizzed up. Like I was like I see it. Like there's something about like the way he carries himself that I was like yeah.
Well, this guy I dated for a bit was really into him, so I guess I picked up a few tricks.
Right.
I don't just guys.
Unrelated, but my favorite scene, one of my favorite scenes, is the rage scene in episode 3 with Cash. That scene is fire, bro. I feel like that is so Australian and so like, what's the word? Not unique, so niche of a reference that like only Australians would get that. And like, it's, oh my god, I remember watching it with my sister and I was like, wow. Okay, so this was something I discovered in my second rewatch. This is when Malachi was high bit. So when Malachi was high and said Amory's name, I think Rowan looked super disappointed and hurt in an iconic escape Amory way, and still think he liked Malachi, just not as strongly as he felt about Amory. Okay, what did I even really mean when I wrote that? Because what the fuck does that even mean? I think I mean that like Rowan did look super disappointed, and I think he was disappointed because it's like, oh well shit, I've lost Malachi, because he's clearly still in love with Amory. But I also think he was disappointed because it was like, damn, like I can't escape Amory no matter what I do. Like I finally moved on, I finally got this other guy. Like, I mean, he clearly hadn't fully moved on because he was still doing bird psycho shit while he was with Malachi, which messes with me a little bit, but let's not think about that. But like, I think it's just the fact that he was like, shit, like no matter what I do, I literally can't escape Amory. Like she's everywhere. She's literally ruining all aspects of my life. She's literally ruining my relationship with Malachi because like Malachi likes her more. Like,
Is that you, Amory?
Being serious right now.
oh my god, this bit was crazy foreshadowing and crazy watching it in the second rewatch. But in episode 5, Rowan is literally showing her moments and clips from the skate park sand animation, and she still didn't remember. That was crazy to me because like, and then later that same episode, he takes her to the skate park. Like he literally takes her to the skate park, and she's like, oh my god, like I used to come here as kids with Harper, like oh my god, like this happened, and like we got bullied and like blah blah blah, and she didn't even remember this like friend that she had. Like I think he like secretly hoped that like showing her these little things would like get her to remember and get her to be like, oh, wait, like I remember this kid from when I was younger, his name was Rowan. And then she's gonna like have this moment, she's gonna be like, wait, his name was Rowan, and then she's gonna like turn to him and be like, oh, like you're Rowan. But like that never happened. Like you really hoped for it, but it just never happened. But that's all like the stuff I wrote about Heartbreak High. I feel like this whole video is literally just Rowan and Malachi shit. I feel like I should talk about something else. Okay, so I'm gonna mention Missy and Spider. Missy and Spider, okay. It took me until the last episode to fully like be like, okay, I can see this as a relationship, because the whole time, like if Spider wasn't that much of a dick, I'd be like, okay, like maybe it could work. But Missy is like so nice, she's so attractive, like she is way too good for him, and I say that in the nicest way possible, and I say it because he's like mean, he is such a dick. It's just like personality wise, she could do 10 times better than him, right? But like then they have these cute moments, and then he like starts to change. Like when he started to change, and like when he like apologized to the school at formal, I was like, okay, like I can get behind this now. Like I can see what the writers were doing. They knew that we wouldn't be behind it, and then they let Spider have this like emotional like changing arc, and then we were like, wait, like I see it now. So I mean, it worked because now I'm kind of supportive of the Missy Spider train. I kind of get it. I do. Some of their scenes were crazy. Oh my god. I kept seeing, before I'd officially watched it, I kept seeing people like talk about a car scene on TikTok. When he like flipped her over in the grass, that was insane. That was kind of hot actually. Like when he just like full on like flipped her over, I was like, oh my god, so this man's strong. But apart from that, like, I don't know, it took me until the last episode to fully be like, get behind the Missy and Spider train. Even though they did have like a lot of cute moments together. Like I was like, yeah, like I can understand why she wants to keep it private though, because he's like a freaking dick. Like he's mean to everyone. Like he said some questionable things in the past. Like I understand that, but I don't know, he's changing, so I'm down for it. Anyway, another top couple before I end the video is Darren and Cash. I love Darren. Darren is so real. Like literally they're the best character, like 100%. But also like Darren and Cash, like I just like they're the best, like they're the best couple and everyone agrees. Oh my god, like they're just perfect for each other. And I have this edit, oh my god, from when season 1 came out. I was looking at my camera before. It's from November 2022 and it's so cute. I'll insert it.
I love you, Darren. I've loved you since year 8. And the only good thing about coming to this shithole every day is seeing your face.
Give up forever to touch you, 'cause I know that you feel me somehow.
Why are you still in school?
You're 18. And? Why don't you just drop out?
Got my reasons.
All I could taste is this moment.
You just tell them it to be like, oh my god. Anyways, I think that's all.
Nah, he's scared of birds. Can't even touch one.
Oh, come off it.
It's true. Bloke's got like a full phobia now. Birdophobia, I believe.
I did.
Just have to wait for a tow.